Hey there, fellow classic comic collectors. As always, I'm Scott Harris King, and today have I got a haul for you. In fact, it's not just today, because I got so many comics at this convention I'm about to tell you about that I'm having to split it into three separate videos. I basically got three separate hauls at the show. And so in parts 2 and 3, I'm going to show you a big haul that I got of horror books, particularly Charlton horrors with great covers. And then in part 3, I'm going to show you a giant pile of Atlas comics from the 1970s that I got because there was a dealer at the show that had long boxes of them, and they were mostly new old stock, so they were in nice condition. They've been bouncing around unbagged for 50 years, so they weren't mint, but there was clearly, like, some of them, there are 3, 4, 5, 6 copies, and they're just rows and rows of these things. So I bought a huge pile of those, and I think I'm close now to having a complete set of those. So we're going to cover both of those awesome hauls in future videos. But today, I've got everything else I got at the show, which is also a giant haul, including some cool romance books. Those will be at the end, but I wanted to mention them up front because, as you know, right now on Kickstarter, I've got my romance comic, Geek Love #1. This is my first romance comic that I've done, and I love romance comics, as you know. I've been keeping, as I always keep out an eye for romance. In fact, it's the first thing I ask at every booth that I go to, but I really wanted to find some cool stuff because I knew that I'd be doing this. I can show you, and I can also show my people on Kickstarter. Anyway, links down below for that. But let me just dive into it. So much cool stuff that I got at the show. Now, the dealer I mentioned had all these long boxes, actually, of a bunch of Bronze Age stuff. $3 each. Tons of great stuff. Silver Age stuff, too, like adventure comics. Like adventure comics with the Legion of Superheroes. In fact, they had it for $3 each. They had some issues of adventure comics that went before Legion, back to when it was Superboy, Action Comics, World's Finest Adventure, like all the Silver Age stuff from the 60s, $3 each, but also tons of Bronze Age stuff. I only got a couple things. I got actually very, very nice. Very nice. Here's the back cover. Look how crisp it is. And the front cover is black, and it's just as crisp. It's a very nice copy of Richard Dragon Kung Fu Fighter #1. Now, I already have a copy of this, but it was so nice for $3. I figure first appearance of Richard Dragon, first appearance of the guy that would become the Bronze Tiger. Blanked on his name because the series isn't very good. But, you know, it's got some keys, so for $3 I couldn't pass it up. Also, a key to probably nobody except super hardcore war readers, but it's Men of War #1, the first appearance of Gravedigger, who is had the lead in this series for its entirety. I also got, just because it's such a great story that I wanted to have a copy to give to somebody. It's Our Fighting Forces 152, which is one of my favorite single issue comics and like an all-time Jack Kirby masterpiece. So again, for $3, they had a bunch of issues actually of Our Fighting Forces with losers in the 140s and 150s, but I have a complete run. So I just got this because I wanted to share it with someone at some point. So next time I do like a mystery box or something, it'll probably go in that. Now, this next batch all came from the same dealer. So you can see that you're going to see a lot of cool stuff from this dealer. Starting with, these aren't that easy to find, but it's the Golden Legacy. It's a series of biographical comics about famous Black North Americans. I was going to say Americans, but it starts off with Toussaint Louverture, and I butchered that name. I'm sorry, I don't speak French. Who is the founding father of Haiti. And so that's issue 1. Issue 11, Men of Action, White, Wilkins, and Thurgood Marshall. And then issue 16, The Black Inventors, Latimer and Woods. So I have 2 or 3 of these issues already. I mean, of the series, but I didn't have any of these 3 particular issues. So starting to get a few now. I've got, now with these 3, I've got, I don't know, 5 or 6 of them. So starting to get some. So that's cool. I also got, completely switching gears. There was a couple people that had some Barbies. So I got this again, same dealer, $5. And it's Barbie Fashion number 51. It's in very nice condition. It's certainly not my favorite Barbie cover, but what it does have going for it is it's one of the last issues of Barbie Fashion. So I think the last issue is 53 of Barbie Fashion. I'm not sure about that. But it ended right after this, and the last issues of these are hard to get. Particularly in nice condition. You can see that it's a newsstand, which it's hard to say which was rare, because I have a feeling that most people reading Barbie were not finding it in going to an LCS to get it. I think most of them were probably doing it, in newsstands, but that does make it harder to find. So finding that in nice shape, I was happy with it. Finding the next comics at all, I was happy with, because it's a bunch of Spire Christian comics. Now, I did a video a while ago where it was the first half of my complete set of Spire Christian comics. Problem is I don't have a complete set. I only had the half that I showed in that video. So there's something like 55 or 56 different Spire titles. Now, each of those has a whole bunch of different price variants. I'm not getting into that. I'm just trying to get one of all 55 or whatever issues. Last time I had about 31 or 32 when I did the video. And I haven't found any between now and then, but I picked up a few here. So that number is going up right now. But not with this first one. I wasn't sure if I had it because, stupidly, I haven't gotten around to making my Spire checklist. I've just been going from memory, and that's particularly difficult with Barney Bear, because there's 8 different issues of Barney Bear, and they're not numbered. You just have to know what the names of them are. And I thought that I probably had this one, but I wasn't sure, so I got it. So that was $6 that I didn't need to spend. But it is a new Barber version. Spire in the 80s ended up selling or something all of their titles to New Barber, who took over publishing them. And so there's not nearly as many of these New Barber because it's only the one printing, basically. One thing that's interesting here, though, is this is a 59-cent New Barber, which is a little bit odd when you look at this here. Is Barney Bear Sunday School Picnic. This is from Spire, but it's 69 cents. So if those of you who are more experts on Spire than I am, maybe you can weigh in. That seems a little odd to me. That there would be this Spire's coming out this late with a 69-cent price, and sort of overlapping, it seems like, almost with the New Barber. So that's a little strange. I don't really understand that. But here's another Barney Bear. This doesn't have a price on the front cover. I'm going to actually open it and look and see what it says on the back. Okay, interestingly, this and the next couple don't have prices on them at all. Now, I've heard of this before. This one, you see someone rectified that by putting a 79-cent sticker on the front. There's no price printed on it, and I think I've heard of this before, that some of the Spires were actually had no price variance because they were meant to be given away at churches or whatever, but I don't think I've seen it before. I've definitely never seen either of these next two anywhere before. The first one is Adventure with the Brothers, Smashing the Smuggler's Ring. Now, both of these cost me $10 each, which is more than I want to normally pay for a Spire. But two things. One, these are actually in quite nice condition, which is hard to find with the Spires. Usually they're trashed, but these are actually really nice. And secondly, I've never seen them before. I've never seen either of these. So when I was looking at the checklist a couple months ago, I saw there's a couple different issues of Brothers. And I was like, what the heck? I've never seen those. So I was really excited to get that. And I've never seen this before. It's Yankee Doodle, the Spirit of Liberty. So very excited to get these 4 off of my checklist, which I haven't made yet. But after this video, I'm going to make my checklist so I will know in the future which ones I need. The only ones I have on my checklist written down are the Archie ones, but since I'm trying to get the rest of them, I need to focus up and figure out exactly what the others are. But this is perfect for July, since we're just celebrating the 4th of July. So very exciting. And then a couple romance comics. This one is one, honestly, I probably shouldn't have gotten. It's a little outside of my collecting field. It's All New Stories of Personal Love from Prize, cover dated March, April 1958. One thing I find interesting about this late Prize era of their books is that they're not well made. Charlton gets all the stick, for not being great or whatever. But Charlton, is very uneven, but they had some really good stuff. Probably the case for Prize, but I will say that these Prize books, like the art on them is just not up to the level that you would expect from a major publisher, and it's not any better than Charlton. So you don't see these a lot, but I kind of wish that I maybe didn't need to get this one. On the other hand, this next one, I think I might already have a copy, but I couldn't leave it behind in case I didn't, because it's Secrets of Young Brides, number 34. The woman's crying in bed saying, "It's no use, Mike. Our marriage is no good." What makes this particularly interesting, and the reason that I had to buy it, is that, for the entire period of 25 years where romance comics were one of the main genres in the comic book marketplace, the big staple, particularly at DC, but across the board, was women crying. But there's only a handful of covers with men crying, just a few. Like, I'm not sure there's even more than you could count on one hand. There's very few romance covers with crying men. This is one of the only ones. So again, I think I might have it already, but I wanted to make sure I got it just in case I didn't. And if I do, well, it's fine. But again, I'm on this big romance kick because my romance comic, which I've been working on for like 2 years, is finally out on Kickstarter. And so I've got romance comics on the brain. So even though I probably didn't need that Personal Love, and I may have already had The Secret of Young Bride, I had to buy them anyway because love is in the air. So that's the first part of this haul. Next time around, we're going to look at the horror stuff that I got, mostly Charlton's with awesome covers. But let me know what you think of this part of the haul, and I'll see you next time.